Okay, let's do our first team within the French league system. But here's the kicker. They're not actually French. So it's a little suspenseful, and I'll leave you hanging for a second and tell you more about them. They were founded in 1919 and are one of the few teams in the world that isn't from the country in which they actually play their domestic league. It took them all the way until 1953 to reach the top flight in France, and by now I should probably tell you that we're going to be talking about AS Monaco. Just based off the name, you can probably guess that they play in the small principality of Monaco along the coast on the south of France. They're the only big club in the country, and on top of that, they play at the only football pitch of any size in the country, which is the Stade Louis II, which is a pretty beautiful stadium and actually larger sports complex, where the club overall itself plays many different sports, to the point that space is really contained. The park for the cars is under the pitch of the stadium, which is something I don't think I've ever seen anywhere else. Their colors are red and white, and they always have it as a stripe across the kit as well. It's a very fancy country, so on top of that, it has to be a very fancy and great looking kit. This kit by Kappa is from a few years back, and it's very beautiful. I got the name of one of their strikers, Wissam Ben Yedder, on it, who doesn't get enough time with the French national team in my opinion, but that shows you how much attacking talent France has. Within the French system, they're very successful, having won 8 Ligue 1 titles, as well as 1 Ligue 2 title. On top of that, they also have 5 Coupe de France titles and 1 Coupe de la Ligue. 3 cool things about them. 1, they don't have their own domestic league in Monaco, and as I mentioned up top, they play in France. This is actually uncommon for the smaller principalities across Europe, other than in Liechtenstein, where teams from Liechtenstein play in the Swiss system, although they do have their own domestic cup system. Monaco doesn't have either. 2, they've had stretches of success and somehow always find a way to pop up when you least expect it and win a league title. They've done that this century, pipping PSG to the title once when they were on a long run of titles, and back in the 60s and 80s had very successful periods winning many titles as well as cups. 3rd, they have an incredible academy. It continues to crank out talent, and for the success that the French national team had in the late 90s and early 2000s when they won the World Cup and the Euro, a good deal of credit has to go to AS Monaco for their academy products that were in that team, such as Lilian Thuram, Emmanuel Petit, and Thierry Henry. Beyond that, their first team itself also breeds a lot of incredible talent that moves across Europe after playing at Monaco. Players like Fabinho, Bernardo Silva, Radamel Falcao came through AS Monaco, as well as this man, Kylian Mbappe. As far as current players, keep a lookout for Wissam Ben Yedder and Kevin Volland, 2 of their forwards right now. And while he's currently in their squad, I don't expect him to stick around much longer. Take a look for a very young talent named Aurelien Tchouameni. He's probably about to move to Real Madrid. So that's your taste of AS Monaco.